guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my first update for my Panda palette. If you haven't seen my introduction, I am panning the Makeup Revolution or I Heart Revolution Nude mini eyeshadow palette. So I hadn't really used this palette at all when I first introduced it into this project. It was basically brand new, so being old is not the reason why I decided to pan this. I just feel like I have too many eyeshadow palettes and I want to get some out of my collection, and I thought since this is kind of a smaller palette it would work better with my Panda's eyeshadows, which I'm also doing, because I said that this project is going to be kind of my secondary eyeshadow project and I'm going to focus mainly on my Panda's eyeshadows, but I thought this would be a good companion palette to, for example, introduce some mattes or some shimmers if I have kind of an excess of either or in my Panda's eyeshadows. So like I said, when I first introduced it, it was brand new, so I'm going to insert a picture of where I was anyway so you can see the comparison, and I'm also going to show you where I am today. So as you can see first here on the close-up, this is where I am today. So I have managed to get quite a bit of usage. As you can see, I have one pan there, which is really great, and I'm so excited to have a pan. And hopefully, as you can see, I also have a really good dip in this bronze shade, and I also have quite a good dip in this kind of shimmery white right here. But it's not as kind of transparent because the shade isn't as shimmery as the other ones. But those are the shades that I have mainly used, and as you can see here you have the comparison again. So when it comes to these shades, clearly I have gotten most use out of the shimmery kind of champagne color, and that was really good to use with my Panda's eyeshadows, especially the first round or the first month, as well as the bronzy shade, because I didn't have any neutral shimmers in my first round of my Panda's eyeshadows, so these two were perfect to pair with all of the mattes that I had. Also the first shade, as you can see, I did use quite a lot, and I actually have used this as a highlighter a few times, but now I am panning another powder highlight, so I can't really use that the same way anymore, but I did manage to get quite a bit of use out of it using it as a highlighter. And then again, like I said, the bronze shade I have used a few times. I actually used it quite a bit in the beginning of or end of January when I first introduced this palette. I haven't used it as much now in February because I did get some more shimmers in my Panda's eyeshadows, but yeah, I've gotten quite a bit of use out of this one anyway. Next up, as you can see and as I've already mentioned a bit, we have the shimmery kind of champagne color. I use this all the time. I'm actually wearing this again on my inner corners today. It's a perfect shade for that, and I have used it all over the lid as well a few times. It's a beautiful, stunning shade. The only issue with it, and as well as the bronzy shade in this palette, is that they are quite crumbly. So I feel like in order to get the most impact and actually make them stick to your eye, you either have to use them wet or with a glitter glue, but I don't really mind that, so it's working perfectly for me for at the moment. Then next up we have actually two matte browns. As you can see, both of them, I haven't used either of these ones because I've been panning quite a lot of free matte like in my Panda's eyeshadows, and as I mentioned previously in this video, this is the secondary project to start. So if I at some point throughout the project find myself without any matte browns, and I'm definitely going to reach into this palette, but for now they are untouched. Next up we have the kind of maroony shade. Again, I have used this maybe once or twice, but not too much. I just had so many kind of warm pinky shades in my Panda's eyeshadows, and I just thought that this was kind of overload. It would sure have gone with those colors, but I just felt like it was too much purple and pink, so I would rather kind of match it with a shimmery like neutral, like the champagne and the bronze, to kind of tone down the purples. But yeah, it's something that I definitely feel like I'm going to reach for later in the year, and even later on in my Panda's eyeshadows when I'm kind of less tired of the purples. But for now I haven't used it that much, but I think it's something that I'm definitely going to reach for a lot in the end of the year, so I'm not too worried. Next up we have the kind of orangey shade, and as you can see I have like a few brush marks in this because I have used it a few times, but not many at all. I don't actually know if I used this shade throughout the last month or if this is from kind of previous just playing around with this palette, but yeah, not something that I would focus on, but again it's something that I definitely think I would kind of wear more in summertime, so again I'm not too worried about it. And then the last shade is kind of like a, again, shimmery satin shade. It's definitely a shimmer, but it's not as metallic as the bronze and the champagne color. But this one I've used a few times, but not too many again, maybe like 2 or 3 times. But I think it's something that I will kind of switch out. So currently I'm using this kind of lighter shade right here quite a lot, and I think this is something that I will use in place of that when I do get more of a tan in the summer. So for now I haven't really used it that much. So moving on to my goals for this palette for next month. I think it's really hard for me to set goals for this because I don't know what I'm going to roll into my pan of eyeshadows, like I said. But if I have to say some goals, I kind of want to hit pan on one more shade, and I think it's either going to be this bronze or this kind of shimmery satiny shade right here. I think it's one of those two that I'm gonna hit pan on most likely, but I do want to try to hit at least one pan a month now in the beginning, especially with the shimmer shades. So that's gonna be my first goal, and then of course just expanding this kind of light color right here. It is a color that I absolutely love, but I just feel like why not just get use out of it now? If I use it up early in the year, that's fine, and at least then I have a shade out of this palette. So I'm gonna continue working on this and at least using it for my inner corner because it works perfect for that, or even just as an all over lid shade as well. But yeah, I think those will be my two goals for the next month. But I'm really excited to have this much progress in the palette already, just being 1 month in, especially since I'm panning quite a few other eyeshadows in other projects. But that, you guys, was all for this video. It's going to be a quick and sweet one, as my panda palette usually is. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you're doing a panda palette as well, let me know down below. Otherwise, I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye guys.